The decision of whether to use Drupal is based on three things. First, the kind of site you want to build. Second, what resources you have available to you. And third, what alternatives are out there and whether one of them might be a better fit. Let's look through each one of these. First, consider what kind of site you're building. Drupal is especially good for sites that go a little bit beyond the basics, or that have to be updated frequently. So if you have frequent updates, you won't have to upload files and rewrite text on the server. You'll just bring it into the CMS and it'll be done. Drupal's also good if you have multiple contributors because it automatically handles user accounts. Drupal is good if it's a membership site for the same reason. You can set different levels so that some people contribute to the site and some people simply have more access to read the site. And Drupal is good if it's going to be interactive. You can post a story, for example, and then allow people to add their own comments to it and add comments to the comments. There are some things that Drupal is not as good for. First of all, if you have any special design requirements, it's a lot easier to do in other systems, specifically in plain HTML. It's possible to make any kind of design you want in Drupal, but it's a little bit complicated. If you want to learn how to do that, watch Chris Charlton's course on lynda.com about creating Drupal themes. Drupal is also really overkill if your site doesn't require any maintenance. If you just want to put up something that announces your business or announces your family, and you don't expect to have people coming there and leaving comments, and you don't expect it to change very much, Drupal is probably going to be more than you really need. Secondly, consider what resources you have available to you. Technically, you need to have an internet service provider that'll give you the sort of access you need in order to run Drupal on their web hosting service. That means that they either set up Drupal for you, or they allow you to set it up yourself by giving you enough access to put the files there, change permissions, and do things of that sort. Drupal does also have some specific server requirements. I don't go into those very much in this course because they're low enough that most web hosts already have those taken care of. If you do have any problems with your web host, however, check the documentation on Drupal.org. In addition to these technical resources, there's some things that you personally also have to be able to do. First of all, you have to be able to move files between your computer and the server. You have to have enough knowledge to get around the server itself as well. You also need to have the time and willingness to perform maintenance from time to time. There are two kinds of maintenance. One is the human maintenance, where you look over the comments people are leaving to make sure that they're not things you don't want on your site. You also have to update Drupal every once in a while. The third resource it's good to have is some knowledge of the languages that make up Drupal. That is PHP, CSS, and JavaScript. Now I can tell you personally, I'm not very good with any of those and I manage okay, so you don't really need these, but if you have them, all the better. The third thing to look at when considering Drupal is whether there might be a simpler alternative. On this particular point, I agree with Albert Einstein, who said that everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. And too often in the Drupal world, the focus is on which CMS do I need, but often plain HTML will give you exactly